Like checking in the mirror quick, doing a quick
forget that there's people watching.
Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday, May 22nd today. We are coming to you live once again. Strong Women, Strong Coffee. Thank you, Jodi, for being here. Kayla, for rocking it out once again for us. We had a mix from DJ Pretty Ricky that we're playing this morning. Thank you for adding some jams to our music this morning. Want to welcome you. I'm going to try to keep this brief, but I want to make sure to give a shout out to our funding partners. The mission, first of all, of Strong Women, Strong Coffee is simply connection. So please comment in the poll or comment in the comment section, I guess you probably call it, and let us know where you're listening from, or if you want to give a shout out for your business, we would love to support you. Little piece of networking while we're doing these virtual, if I could. My name is Christy Dauer. I'm with the North Dakota Women's Business Center. We are a statewide nonprofit serving entrepreneurs and fostering women leaders. Located in Bismarck and Fargo, we exist to support both the entrepreneur and the entrepreneurial mindset. Jodi. Again, can't wait to dig in and talk. Jodi is a graduate of our Women's Leadership Program. Jodi and I have been connected in a few different ways, but I feel like I've known her my whole life. She is someone that will show up for you. She lives all out, and she is really a community supporter. And so can't wait to dig into her story in just a minute. But thank you to our team at CTB for supporting our work here over in the eastern half of the state. And thank you to our funding partners for the Small Business Administration that provides grant funding, and to the North Dakota Department of Commerce for supporting our work. And we couldn't do it without those funding partners. If you are a small business owner and seeking some guidance on maybe your next steps in business, or perhaps some information on your business, maybe a marketing strategy or plan, or just need a thinking partner, please reach out to us, our social media, or in a chat, and we would love to schedule a free and confidential business advising with you. Without any further, I'd love, Kayla, can you introduce yourself today?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm Kayla Mediger. I'm the program coordinator at the North Dakota Women's Business Center in Fargo. Happy to be alongside Christy for the adventure.
Jodi, like I said, I feel like I've known you my whole life. Actually, your cousin was my high school gym teacher, I'm pretty sure. Doyle, right?
Yeah.
And
really tall guy.
Yeah, for our senior prank, he actually caught my girlfriend and I don't know if she's tuning in, but she could probably tell the story a little better than I could. We rollerbladed through the commons and got in trouble.
You rebels.
But Jodi, tell us, can you give us a little bit about your incredible bio? Tell us a little bit about yourself, and then I've got some canned questions to go to, but I'd love for you to introduce yourself.
Well, my name is Jodi Plecity, and you could say, much like you, Christy, but I'm a serial entrepreneur. Getting into the nonprofit world, which I love, and especially in this community, it's just awesome to be able to help other people. That's my calling. So I love it. I've been
been through a lot of struggles, lost half my body weight, about 150 pounds naturally. Just went through a lot of health issues, diabetic, Hashimoto's, thyroidism, some baby losses. I mean, I kind of feel like a warrior. Kind of went through all that, but you know what? The cool part is here I am on this awesome other side of life, and it's, I don't know, this is where I'm supposed to be. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Talk about business first, and then we'll go into some of your community work. Tell us, what's it like? You have owned multiple businesses. Tell us a couple of them, and tell us what it was like. We know that you've sold one of your businesses. Tell us a little bit about that in your perspective about buying and selling a business.
Well, I've sold multiple businesses in my life, but this last one, I actually have I had Lake Mode Liquors. I had 2 locations. And a few years ago, Hornbachers reached out to me and asked if it was for sale. And I'm thinking, well, anything's for sale, right? For the right price. So dug in a little deeper, got to know those guys, Matt Lyseth at Hornbachers and stuff, great guy. And they were wanting to tap into the retail off sale. And I was kind of at a point in my life where, do I really want to be doing that anymore? Because I was shifting to more health aspect. So it was kind of conflicting with my life and where it was going. But when you own a business, unfortunately, you can't just, hey, here's my 2-week notice, see you later. You know what I mean? So you have to kind of ride it out, find a buyer, make it all work and stuff. Well, so we were in talks for about 6 months with Hornbachers, and finally came to like a negotiation, had a purchase agreement and all that stuff. And I'm sure you guys remember a couple years ago, there was this huge Super Value got bought out by UNFI, and then UNFI pieced off all of their grocery store chains, hence the reason that Colburn's now owns Hornbachers, which is Cashwise. So I was involved, you guys, through that entire process. And here's, Jodi just hanging on. I mean, I had nobody else helping me. I didn't have any attorneys, whatever. I just, I talked to people. I'm like, just be real. And there's many times that I drove down to Eden Prairie to the Super Value corporate office because, we just had to meet. And I like to talk to people face to face, especially with something as serious as this. So went through so we got to the point we had dates picked and everything. And of course you can imagine that when you have staff, they start to feel uneasy when they're like, oh, the business is going to sell, or kind of, I try to keep it under wraps, but you can only for so long. And because it has to go through the liquor board committee, you have to transfer licenses, so it's public knowledge and all that stuff. And man, that was quite the period of my life that I don't ever want to do again, to be honest with you. Because we got to the point we had dates set and all of that. And so I had moved back, just to kind of back up a little bit. Going through my life change about 5-6 years ago, I picked up and I moved to Minneapolis for a couple of years. I had to literally start my life over. I was married for 17 years, just went through a lot of stuff. I needed to just kind of wipe everything off, shake off the rug, start over, find Jodi, and then rebuild my life, because my entire life turned around. I drank, smoked, did drugs. I was doing all that type of stuff for years. So complete change, had to rid everybody from my life. Started over, had some awesome people in my life, which, by the way, quality is more important than quantity right now. So keep that in mind when you have people you look up to and stuff. So I moved to Minneapolis. So I was in Minneapolis running my 2 businesses from there. I had a manager and assistant manager. I know, right? So it was working. I had contact every day and whatever. Well, getting to the sales there, I knew that was coming. I needed to kind of make sure I knew what was going on, getting all that prepped and whatever. So came back, had a couple employee issues, had to actually fire an assistant manager. Well, then my manager put in her notice, 2 weeks later or whatever. I'm like, okay, well, and I knew I was in this sale process. So I literally, in 3 days, had no idea I was going to be moving. Rented a 30-foot U-Haul truck, loaded up my entire house in that truck, put my Jeep behind it on a trailer, and drove back to Fargo within 3 days, you guys. And I'm just like, I got to run my businesses. You can't, when you're a business owner, that's the thing. You can't, it's not 8 to 5, Monday through Friday. And when you have staff that just flake out on you or whatever, you got to man up. So I was here and I ran both my businesses for about 1.5 years. I had no other assistant manager or anything. So basically was doing the work of 3 people, 70, 80 hours a week, but that was my life. I knew I needed to sell this business because I knew on the other side of it was where my passion was, and nothing was stopping me. So anyways, back up. So now we have a purchase agreement, the date set, all of that. Gets like within a month of the sale, or not even that. So I'm prepping, and then all of a sudden this big blowout happens on the media. Super Value is being bought out by UNFI for $3 billion. This is Super Value alone is a Fortune 500 company, but UNFI is bigger. So I'm like, oh, great. And you guys, I had no idea. They didn't tell me anything because they couldn't, you have like legal, whatever. So literally when it was on the news, that's when I knew. So I get on the phone right away to my contact. He's like, yeah, I know. I couldn't tell you. And I'm like, I understand, So now what, So then it gets to UNFI. Well, you can imagine a huge corporation like that buying out another huge corporation and everything it takes to kind of get that organized. And they're not worried about some little liquor store lady owner. You know what I mean? Think about it. They have places all over the country, and warehouses. But I kept in contact. I kept in good terms with these guys. They were really awesome. And eventually, you guys, they got it in front of the new UNFI CEO, because that all changed. You can imagine the structure. And I just kept plugging away, kept working. And then, so get another date set. I'm like, yes, this is going to happen, all that stuff. Colburn's is going to buy Hornbachers. They're piecing off all their grocery store chains retail, UNFI is, because they want to stay wholesale. And I'm like, oh, now what? So then I'm like, are you kidding me? So I just kept rolling, kept selling, kept doing my thing. I'm like, oh, this is what I'm supposed to do, what I'm supposed to do. And so then get in contact with the Colburn's guys, and they're like, Jodi, you should have just contacted us at the beginning. We would have just bought your store, before they were buying Hornbachers or whatever. Anyways, it was all good. It ended up good. And the crazy part, you guys, is so it got to the point where that third piece and date was set. So we went to transfer the liquor license. Well, here's the other kicker, is the license that I had, which I created, mind you, like 12 years ago through the city, because City of Fargo liquor licenses are very hard to get a hold of. They only have so many. So I approached the city, was on a committee to develop how those licenses would be given out. Well, then it got down to the wire, and here Colburn's already has a liquor license in Fargo, because they opened on the other side of the interstate, 52nd Avenue area. And it was a B limited license. Well, the structure I created was you could only have one B limited license per entity. So you know where this is going, right? So then I went back to the city, and I went to the mayor, you guys. I'm like, I gotta go talk to these guys. Like this is out of my control. Like this thing was snowballing, and now all of a sudden it's Colburn's. It needs to change too. And everybody knows what's going on because it's in the media everywhere. And I just sat down with those guys, you know, the commissioners and stuff. I just said, this is what I'm trying to do. Like, I was very sincere, and they changed it for me, and they allowed it. And I'm gonna get emotional about it because that was a huge turning point in my life. And it just goes to show you that if you sit down and you just like are honest with people and just be forthright with them, that there's good people in this world. So, so anyways, that was that whole fiasco.
Thank you for sharing. And you know, your passion. So you've hinted towards it a little bit, Jodi, but tell us a little bit of your story, and maybe, you know, some of those turning points that ultimately led you to better other people's lives. And I want to get into that in just a minute, but can we go down that road a little bit more, and tell us your story from
where do you want to start? So really the biggest change for me happened the last 5 years in my life. So that's kind of where my journey really changed. But up till, I mean, I lived really unhealthy for like 20 some years of my life, to be honest with you, to put it into perspective. So here's Jodi, unhealthy life. Always been an entrepreneur though, since I was about 25. My marriage at the time and stuff, I created like 4 businesses that we had, like a body shop, some commercial oil stuff and things like that. So went through, sold all those because literally when I got divorced, I didn't want any of that, but I ended up with Lakeville, which was fine because I ran that or whatever. So anyways, about 5 years ago, well, the loss of my last son, Andy. So I had multiple pregnancies where I was pretty far along, 20 weeks and like 22 weeks. And unfortunately, I lost both of them. One was born alive, didn't live very long. And then 1 year later, I was pregnant again, and he had a pretty debilitating disease, and they were concerned for my health to continue on with the pregnancy. So I actually delivered him. They induced me, and he didn't survive. And that part of my life, you know, as sad as that might be, when I was holding him, because I did, I knew, because I put my faith and trust, is he going to live, is he not? Like, I didn't know, honestly. And that's really when my life started to change. So I'm like, I don't want to live like this anymore. I don't want to be unhealthy, but I didn't know how to get better. So I was just kind of all over the board. I didn't understand 99% of the things that I do now as far as like nutrition and health. And I think I was taking out my depression on working out. I mean, I was working out like 2.5 hours a day, like just ridiculous, because I was taking out all of this anger and this frustration, but I was injuring myself because I wasn't being smart about it. So I was actually going to physical therapy for probably 8 months, and it just wasn't doing anything. It was hard. It was a struggle. So one day I'm just like, to my therapist, I'm like, I need somebody to help me like write my workouts. Like, I was on this mission where I am going to get better. I'm going to fix this problem, and nothing was stopping me. Well, he wrote, so I'd never been to a chiropractor in my life up till like 5 years ago. So he wrote a name on a piece of paper that changed my life. Like, seriously, it changed my life. I went to that chiropractic office, and in that office was the person that is near and dear to my heart right now. That's a really good friend of mine. And he was interning in that office, and just quiet, you know, because he was in the back corner observing. And all of a sudden, you guys, like within a week or two, I was doing off-ice hockey training. Now, mind you, I don't skate. Like, literally, I was like, what am I doing here? You know, but I just like, I trusted it. And it was exactly what I needed, because I had really bad hip problems and stuff like that. And when you're doing off ice hockey training, that is some pretty intense therapy. And that's exactly what I needed. So here I am doing that for months. And I was just like, I was trying to get healthy, and I won't go into my whole divorce, but I'm just like, this is not right. Things were going on within that marriage that were coming to light. And I was like, nope, this is not okay. And just, I was done with it. Separated the businesses, moved on. I had to do it. And was it scary? Yes, it was scary. But totally worth it. I do not regret for a second moving on with my life, because the main focus turned to me. And the thing is, a lot of people might say, oh, that's selfish. Like you're selfish and all this. Even like I had some family stuff too when this whole transition was going on, and be that way to me. And I'm just like, you know what? No, that's when I moved to Minneapolis. I'm like, I'm starting over. This is what I'm supposed to do. Listen to the universe or whatever. You know what I mean? Whatever you believe in, whatever your beliefs in the higher power. And I rolled with it. So anyways, got to that point, started getting better, started doing like cleanses, had that really good friend of mine who's now the director of care of People's Rising Academy, which is our nonprofit. And Dr. Miles and I always knew, when we met, we knew there was something we were going to do together, but wasn't really sure what it was going to be. But we just kind of, rolled with it, whatever. And as I progressed and got better, I mean, he has me powerlifting, you guys. When I met him, I couldn't even hardly walk. I was in such bad nerve pain in my back, and I was just a mess, you guys. Well, imagine losing. So he helped me continue to lose weight. I lost 150 pounds. I mean, that's like half of me. And when you take that amount of weight off of you, your body starts to like, what's going on? Like it's just a lot of stress on you. And I needed help, you guys. I still need help. I'm still get therapy like at least once a week or two, because I'm going to be blunt, you don't get fat overnight. Let's just say that. So you don't get healthy overnight. Imagine the amount of time it takes for you to get unhealthy. And then when you want to be healthy, it's just as much of a struggle but better, because you reap the benefits of being healthy. So anyways, I don't know where you want me to go now, but so went through all of that.
I want to talk a little bit. So Strong Women, Strong Coffee, come up with this crazy idea of doing it virtual. One of my phone calls was to Jodi in our test platform for some outtakes. Jodi, you're someone that shows up. You're somebody that supports causes in the community. And I love that about you. From a birthday parade to watching the takeouts on live videos as we try to plan out Strong Women, Strong Coffee virtually. You're somebody that shows up. You're involved in a couple of other organizations, and you have really given a lot of yourself back to the community. Tell me a little bit about the other organizations that you're involved in.
Well, besides my own nonprofit, Christy, I found, Christy, you're such an awesome connection. I have to throw this out there. So a lot of my growth into the nonprofit and community sector was because of the North Dakota Women's Business Center. When I went through that program, it really helped me see a whole different world that I didn't even know was out there. And I found that anytime Christy asks me to do something, I just do it, because it's always good at the end, and I trust her. So she's like, you should be on this committee or go wherever. And I'm like, okay, if I don't have anything planned, I show up. Or you should meet this person. And so Furniture Mission of the Red River Valley, I've kind of been helping them out, helps move some furniture. And Christy's on the board. It's an amazing thing that I think is really needed because they take furniture in the community, and a lot of places don't want to take donations like that because it's too like bulky and hard for them to store it and stuff like that. So really a believer in that, what they're doing. So I kind of help when I can or whatever, and
Um,
that's
above and beyond. So, Jodi, you're being humble.
I know.
She said on a committee meeting, and she's like, "Oh, I'll go find a sign for you." So she makes a couple phone calls, and that afternoon, you guys, we were making board decisions on signs for our warehouse, and we get a bunch of furniture, and right for people interested in donating. I text Jodi, she's showing up, she's moving furniture with us. So you're very humble, Jodi, because you're somebody that shows up, you raise your hand, and yes, please tell us about the other organizations you're involved in.
Well,
Fun cup
so
there.
People's Rising Academy was took a lot of time and effort between Dr. Miles and I. We wanted it to be right. We knew our mission. How do we portray it to the public? And still, it's kind of difficult because we're something new that people have never seen before. And even with setting it up structurally and all that, we had to spend a lot of time making sure, is this the right way? How is this going to work? You know, I've always been on the profit side, and this is nonprofit side, and what's the legal part of it, and to set all that up. Well, I like to figure stuff out. I'm one of those people where it's kind of like my mission, and that's why I like helping people. But this goes back to, don't take on too much, because if it starts affecting you, you have to say no, and that's okay to say no.
Yes.
So pick and choose your battles. But so People's Rising Academy is a nonprofit organization where we just want people living their best, healthiest, autonomous life. And we want to teach people, much like I was taught, and that's where all the inspiration and passion came from, was if we could teach people even 20% of what I've been taught over the last 5 years, just think of the impact that could make on people's lives, you know? And I think the problem is the biggest thing we have to work on is education. What does health really mean? Does health mean going to the doctor once a year for your exam? Or does health mean taking care of yourself every single day with sleep, eating right, people you surround yourself with, you don't work too much, you exercise, or is it every day of your life? Healthcare to us means, you know, preventing the disease that comes later if you don't take care of yourself. So with that, it's hard, and we want to do it as a nonprofit because a lot of times insurance companies don't cover preventative medicine, and we all know that. So we figured we would structure it as a nonprofit because people that are really suffering chronic pain, and like I was, we want to help those people. And all it takes is like 1% that you want to get better, but you don't know how. You have to want it. It's not something we can force upon you. You have to take the ball and run with it. We're going to give you direction. Dr. Miles is going to do initial full exams, anything like you've ever been through at any medical doctor facility. All within his scope. He's functional medicine, kinesiologist, neurologist, and you guys, what they do, I can't even describe it because it's more of it's a different approach. They really dig into what is the problem? What are you suffering from? Why do you have hip pain? Why do you have migraines? Why are you 30 pounds overweight? You know what I mean? Do you have a thyroid problem? But they want to fix it, not that I'm against medication. There's a time and place for it in this world, but that's not our goal. Our goal is, why are you suffering from something? Let's figure out what it is. And then let's work you back up to be an athlete at life. That's where that saying comes from. Because when I started feeling better, and getting more energy, I was feeling like I was just conquering the world. Like I was conquering life and everything I'd been through. And you guys, life is hard and it's okay to ask for help, you know? So we're that unbiased cheerleader that's going to be in your corner. And if you or you know someone that's suffering or struggling, go to our website, peoplesrising.org, reach out to me there, send me an email, and let's see what we can do to help you, because that's what we're about. So
I'm over apologizing when we have creative interruptions, but Reese, do you want to say
hi Reese.
You tell us about, you've got a cup and you're kind of supporting another charity that you like to
I forgot.
You're organizing a medical benefit right now. Jodi, tell us a little bit about Lend a Hand Up.
Yes, so I know Gina. I ran into Gina through the Women's Business Center. She spoke and I thought, this is amazing what she's doing. I want to like help her. It was kind of one of those things where like, nope, I'm supposed to help her. Helping families in medical crisis, because again, it kind of fits with what People's Rising is, and the fact where a lot of times people don't take care of themselves because of the financial side of it, you know, or they're in a terminally ill state and they just need some help, you know, and medical bills can rise up. So anyways, Gina, I helped her with some media stuff through our philanthropy project, and just kind of helped get her like Instagram, stuff like that. Well, I spoke at International Women's Day at Dakota Medical Foundation, and there was a lady there afterwards that came and talked to me. And her name was Anna Lasande, and she just was like, I want to hear more, you know? And that's kind of how it's been working in my world is we don't go seek people, they seek us, because we can't help everybody, but yet the people that get touched maybe by like some little inspiration of what I said or something, they're going to be like, I want more. I yearn for that. And I'm like, sure. So then we talk about it. And she'd been through a lot of struggles. The more I dug, I was like, wow. Like I knew exactly what to do because her husband suffered a traumatic brain injury and they were struggling again, the financial side, medical stuff going on, both of them. She had broke her back, her wrist, some other stuff. Couldn't work. He couldn't work. I mean, you can imagine 2 small kids at home, you know, that's just life deals you blows. And I'm just like, nope, I know what to do. So I reached out to Gina and got them set up there. There's an application process, and we're going to be doing the first virtual online auction benefit with them. So super excited about that. We have lots of pieces that people are donating, and Anna is an artist. So through all of this, she, Jolly Bird Studio, you'll have to check out her Facebook page, but she's incredible. Like she has this gift, you know, you guys know painting and stuff like that and drawing, that you don't like learn that, you're born with it. And that's pretty amazing. So and Fred worked for the Fargo Police Department, I was gonna say. So we've got the Fargo Police Department on board sharing our information, and we're hoping within the next week or so we're going to start doing some trial runs of the online auction site. So we'll have a few pieces out there, and then by, you know, like the 4th of July or whatever, we'll probably be wrapping up that kind of benefit where they boost by 20% of everything we've taken in so far.
Well,
So,
and Lend a Hand Up versus a GoFundMe, Jodi. So there are plenty of online platforms, and you choose to support Lend a Hand Up. Tell us a little bit about that online platform.
Well, Lend a Hand Up, like I said, they are Gina is the director of that, and she does. I want to toot her horn. She actually started Giving Hearts Day like however many years ago that happened. And then they ended up going into this medical side where the Dakota Medical Foundation helps them with that. But Lend a Hand Up supports, you know, if the individual qualifies, they support them for, usually it's like 90 days. With the COVID and everything going on, they're kind of being a little more lenient because unfortunately, these people that are involved can't have physical benefits like that you can go to where they have like a dinner and an auction and all of that. And so Lend a Hand Up is amazing. I love Gina, and we're like, she's like letting a hand up, people's rising. We just kind of go hand in hand there. So yeah, so super excited for them. They boost all the proceeds that you take in for the family or individual by 20% at the end. But I have to say one other thing. So last week, Gina sends an email, and they sent out $1,000 checks to, they have like 5 families, I think, right now that are in their help. And they just sent them $1,000 just for the heck of it. And I didn't tell Anna. I just said, watch your mail, something's coming, and she's against us. So she had no idea. And she opened it up, and she's like, I thought it was 100, and then she saw another 0. She's like, oh my gosh. It was really, really cool that they did that. So
you certainly are somebody that seeks out partnerships, and I think that that's a testament for how far you've been able to come in all of this. So Jodi, as we wrap up, final thoughts, or is there a ask that you would have for our audience?
Well, I would ask that, go to our website, peoplesrising.org, follow us on social media, please, People's Rising Academy. And we want to be having our own benefits coming up, or, educational, forums about what we're actually doing. But we have a couple of patients right now, I have to tell you too. I won't say who, but a couple of our first patients, and we're going to start documenting and hopefully posting and sharing some of that with the community. So I think that's important for you guys to see more of not just my story that I'm a testament, but hey, we're helping these people too. But obviously financially, we really need support, because we're just donating and doing our time to help people, which is fine. But you have expenses, you might have supplements we need to give them, or blood work they need done, or testing, and that stuff costs money. Unfortunately, we don't do that like in-house. So financially, you could support whatever you can. Support an athlete at life, be somebody that really changes somebody's life and their health. Because what's going to happen is that person is going to go back out in the community, and they're going to help other people, because that's our mission. And here I am, somebody that wants to help everyone, but I'm doing the best I can. And, I'll do this the rest of my life. Somehow or another, I'll have health and helping people forever, however it works out. So financially is a big thing. We're a nonprofit. Share our social media. Send people to us if you know that they might really be struggling with life. But keep in mind, we want to take in and help people, but it costs money to do that. So anything you can do to help us would be awesome.
Thank you so much for sharing your story, sharing your gift, sharing your time and talents, Jodi, with us. To the audience, thank you for supporting our show this morning. We are appreciative as we're staying home and staying safe, that we can still spread news and spread inspiration. If you have any questions, Jodi, we invite you to check out the comments and connect. You're a great connector. And so thank you, everyone, for joining us this morning.
Yeah.
Yay!
Thank you, Jodi.
Thanks, guys.